just bursting into tears.
He said, "Jeff, what we gonna do now?" And I said, "Steve, God's gonna take care of us."
I was so excited to be in that dunk contest. I ain't even stretched for the dunk contest. I was just all pure adrenaline.
That's awesome. I gotta give him the 10 on that one, ladies and gentlemen.
Just came out, you know, dunking the
ball. Steve Francis is one of the premier dunkers in the NBA. But midway through high school, it appeared that he may never be tall enough to even touch the rim. Then he had the growth spurt he'd been dreaming of.
He was like 5'4", 5'6", and then just came back and he was like 6 feet or something, you know, over like 2 weeks or so. You know, it was like, where the hell is he getting this from, you know?
And we was all out there playing around, and he just picked up the ball and, I mean, dunked it, really dunked it. And everybody was like gathering around, was like, boy, dunk it like that?
But Steve's highlights were all on the playground. Kicked off his high school team after his sophomore year, he transferred schools, but couldn't return to the court.
Well, my junior year, I went to Kennedy because we moved from Tacoma Park out to the boondocks. The rules prohibited me from playing the first semester.
Montgomery County schools wouldn't allow you to transfer and play ball, so it was real hard for him at the time.
You know, the second semester, my grades went down again and I wasn't able to play. It was tough, man. Just knowing, looking at the competition, looking at the guys that I played Little League with, and they're out there, you know, they're all met, they're all counting. I'm like, damn, man, I think I'm better than these guys.
Steve transferred back to Blair, but county rules and poor grades, again, kept him off the court.
We just got the word that, hey, he can come return to Blair, but he won't be allowed to play, which was another big blow for us, but certainly for him, who really needed to play.
Steve needed direction, but his older brothers had moved out, and his mother, Brenda, had fallen ill.
For maybe 10 years, she had a hernia behind her heart. You know, she lived with that. She was very fearful of surgery.
Well, Mom was, you know, she was sick for a while. She would be in and out of the hospital.
There was certain medicines that she needed. We really couldn't afford all of it that she needed.
Went up there to see her. Well, her eyes were kind of yellow, and I couldn't control my emotion because I never saw my mother not being able to do something. Never saw her like that.
You know, I was home with her, and she started throwing up blood a little bit.
The only thing that she would tell me was to make sure that my brothers and my sister and everybody was taken care of.
In March, Brenda died of cancer. She was 39.
I get like 10 pages in a row from my cousin. I called her, and I mean, she was crying, and I mean, at that point, I pretty much knew.
I was driving him home, and then he just bursting into tears.
You know, he's asking me questions like, what's wrong? And I'm like in the front seat, but I'm like balled up on the floor, like feeling so sick, man.
Not her, you know. It's not her. You know, you gotta understand something. This woman, it's been a long time since I talked to my mother.
I never thought that I would be without her, you know what I'm saying? It was something that really, you know, changed my life.
And Steve, I'll never forget, day after Went over grandma's house. He had the picture. I just try to stay strong, but Steve, I remember he looked at me. He said, "What we gonna do now, Jeff?" I said, "Steve, God gonna take care of us, man."
What are we gonna do? I was just out of high school and kind of lost in my way at the time, and Steve was in high school at the time, and you know, Jeff was married with his family.
We didn't have too much. We had love within that little core. That's what she left behind. She literally left love behind, something tangible, something that you can feel, something that was real.
I don't remember anything that happened within those 3 months. Like after that happened, like people tell me they would see me, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Very devastated by it. Very devastated. He didn't finish high school.
He completely stopped playing basketball at all. I mean, it just wasn't there anymore.
You can see him shutting down. You know, we couldn't do a whole lot for him.
I miss my mom so much. It's been 10 years, and there's not one day that goes by that I don't think about, you know, certain situations, things that she did, you know, with me and with my brothers, and even for my whole family. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that.
For 3 months, Steve Francis was lost, trying to make sense of his mother's death. He decided to use it as motivation.
It might have broke him down to realize how precious life is. And then also gave him the knowledge to go forward with his dream.
Back in Tacoma Park, Steve continued to play basketball, mostly pickup games in the basement of the local firehouse. He began to develop a reputation.
Everybody just congregated to this little firehouse, and it was in the basement. And wooden backboards, and everybody would come there, and I'm dogging guys. I don't care where they were coming from D.C., Virginia, Maryland.
The great city ballers, you know, from all over D.C., Maryland, come up there and play, and, you know, he served everybody up in there.
A lot of people thought that, you know, Steve would be just a playground legend where, you know, he was talented enough to make it, but, you know, will he ever put himself in a position, you know, to get to college to be able to do that?
The whole time. And I'm like, dang, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next?
Steve decided to try his hand again at organized basketball.
He refocused and rededicated himself. And he has an opportunity to play AAU, Junior Olympic ball, with Lou Wilson.
You know, he's been watching me play all this time. He's like, yo, it's time for you to get your act together, you know, and get back on the basketball court and, you know, do some of the things, you know, that you're capable of doing.
Gosh, I'd like to work with him and see if we can get him on our amateur athletic union team, and we could travel and maybe get him a little more exposure since he didn't play high school.
Wilson took Steve to Florida for a tournament. The trip changed his life.
He has such charisma and such style that the little kids would come up to him after the games asking for autographs.
Gave him an opportunity to be seen by colleges so that he could obtain a scholarship.
My assistant coach called me one day, and I think I found a kid, pretty good player. And I said, well, where did he play high school? He said, he didn't. You know, I kept saying, well, where's he from? Well, I don't know.
Steve was offered a chance to play at San Jacinto Junior College.
I'm looking at Lou. I'm like, where's San Jacinto College? He's like, in Texas. I'm like, Texas?